Hey guys, how you all doing? Welcome back to 90 Minutes Strong.
Yep.
We're here for another Inter Miami pregame show.
Nothing
Pedro is
happened.
back.
Nothing happened to this week.
Yeah, well,
Slow news week, right?
what happened?
Slow news week.
Oh yeah, totally. Low news week. We have something that me and him are gonna get very personal about here about one of our trusty or ex players now. But very quickly, we're gonna go through the lineup. We're gonna talk about that first. Let me go from the back. We have Luis Robles in net, Figal, Reyes, LGP, and Sweat as the back line. That has been the consistent throughout this so far since LGP joined the team. In the midfield, Matuidi goes to the bench, and we're going to start Jay Chapman and Victor Ulloa. Lewis Morgan will be on the right. Breck Shea will be in again after being dropped last week, or I guess Sunday. He'll be playing on the left. Pizarro is going to probably play that central role in attacking mid, and then Robbie Robinson gets his start up top. So a couple quick notes. I'm going to just go very quickly about these because I noticed a couple things about this lineup. One, 2 clean sheets in a row. One of them coming against the same team that we're playing now, or in 30 minutes, and it's the same back line, which is good. I'm going to talk about the attack. Robbie Robinson has a lot to prove. In this start, he hasn't started since the second game against DC United in March. And also the team, which is Orlando City, who drafted Daryl Dike, and Miami decided to take Robbie Robinson first. Daryl Dike today was just announced the MLS Player of the Month.
Yeah.
So he goes 5th overall in the expansion draft, and Robbie Robinson goes first. No goals, no assists so far. Daryl Dike's got 3 goals, 2 assists in his last 3 games. Robbie Robinson's got a lot to prove. Breck Shea and Lewis Morgan are true wingers. I don't think we're going to see Pizarro drift out as much. I think he's going to play a lot more central. And Matuidi being dropped, I'm sure it's just a fitness thing. Those are my quick takes on that. What do you think about the lineup?
I think this lineup, I feel like I sound like a broken record, and people that are probably listening feel the same way, but they just need to score. Like a clean sheet is great, but if you don't score, it's just a draw. And we're in last place, 1 win, 6 losses, I believe 3 draws.
2
draws.
2, yeah, 2.
It's time to win. And obviously, I know, it's easier said than done.
Mm-hmm.
But hopefully, if what you said on that text message this week with me is true, that might change. It doesn't. To me, Miami, 2 things Miami needs right now. They need a midfielder to hold the midfield. Pizarro is great, but he's Pizarro. He always takes care. He always. Oh, sorry, I just saw a question by Oscar. He's not starting probably because of fitness. To be completely honest.
Yeah, I think he went. I mean, honestly, I didn't expect him to play 78 minutes or whatever he did last week after only training. I mean, he trained 2 days. That's it. Yeah. He was in South Florida for about a week, trained 2 days, and there you go. And then now, I mean, I expect to see him in the game at some point, whether it be at the 45-minute mark or the 60-minute mark or later, like Alonso likes to do. I think this is a different situation than all the other players we have. Matuidi, I really hope we see him in this game. And if we need a game changer, Alonso's going to chuck him in. I'm not too worried about it at all. I don't think anyone should read into it too much. One thing to note is that Trapp is not playing. Chapman is. And Chapman started 2 weeks, or I guess against the Atlanta. I think he started against Atlanta. Didn't have a great performance, but he goes with Trapp again, or goes with Chapman again over Trapp. Trapp has not shown anything at all, so it kind of makes sense. Ulloa has been decent, but Matuidi really complimented the midfield. It's going to be a tough loss for the first 45 minutes, but we'll live with it because, I mean, you got to. I mean, he's our guy. We got to rest him. It's a long season ahead, so that's that.
So back to what we need. We need a midfielder that can hold that shape kind of thing, and have Pizarro not have to go back so much. Because when Pizarro goes back and he's going back and forth, he gets tired. Once he gets tired, other teams see blood and they go for it, and then Miami's done. Because that right now, without Matuidi and without whatever happens in the future, right now that's the star we have. And so if teams see that he's tired, they're gonna go at him, and then he's gonna get frustrated because that's what just happens with players. And so Miami needs to find a way to score. And yeah, I know it's easier said than done, but like you said, Robinson needs to prove himself. We've talked a lot about him, about how he's a good player and how he has quality. Hasn't shown so far. Now, is it a matter of they're not trusting him enough and putting
Agudelo, Carranza, those kinds of guys? Yeah.
Is now here, and then this is where I start my whole spiel, but we're not going to get there yet. Is Alonso not trusting his players enough because they're not European
or South American?
Or South American. Oh, so if you're not putting your trust, like for example, look at the Heat, right? You put in Tyler Hero, you're trusting that rookie to make those baskets when it counts. Is Alonso trusting his rookie to make plays when it counts? I haven't seen that. Now, he's also done some dumb rookie mistakes because he's a rookie, but you can't penalize him every single time he does that because then he's not going to grow. And so, yeah, he hasn't played to his full potential, but I still think he's a good player.
I want to say quickly, it's kind of funny in a Facebook group with Inter Miami fans. I pointed out before Daryl Dike was named Player of the Month. I pointed out saying looking at the stats, and I said, look, Robbie Robinson hasn't done this. Daryl Dike has done this. Yeah. Robbie Robinson hasn't played as many games because he did miss the Orlando tournament, so he's down 3 games. But Dike didn't start the year for Orlando, so it's almost close. Dike has done significantly better and has been a really good attacker for Orlando, hence why he is named Player of the Month. Did Miami mess up the number 1 pick of the Super Draft? We don't know yet. It's early, and that's fine. But I do think that it's fair to question, right?
I don't think so.
If we had, here's the thing: we're not scoring goals. This is my take on it. We're not scoring goals. If somebody like Daryl Dike can come in and score 3-4 goals, have 2 assists for you in 7 or 8 games, that impact for Inter Miami would be massive. And I don't think we'd have this many questions about the team if Daryl Dike was doing that for us. And it all stems from my piece that I wrote for 5 Reasons before the MLS Super Draft, where I scouted all these guys. I had Daryl Dike as my number 1 prospect. Now, I didn't say for Miami to take him at number 1, but I had him ranked above Robbie Robinson. Miami had the 1st and the 3rd overall pick. I'd said that Miami should draft this center back from Indiana. They didn't. He actually felt the Nashville at number 2 because we took Robinson. I was saying take the solid defender and then pick your guy. Whether it's Robinson or Dike that gets picked second, you get the other one and you live with it. Yeah. Here's the thing. They picked Robinson. They went with the talent. Paul McDonough has done that in Super Drafts, and that's fine. I'm not doubting Robbie Robinson by any means. I think he's a great guy, and he has a lot of potential. It's just that I really think that impact that Daryl Dike has done for Orlando would have helped this team massively, and that's why today's game is so important for Robbie Robinson because he has a lot to prove.
Could it also be, playing devil's advocate, that he's under a lot more pressure in Miami than Orlando because Miami has the glamour, the first-year team playing for Beckham, and they were expected to be the best team in the world. Yeah. They were supposed to sign all these amazing players. They haven't, and now they're right there, last place in the East, and you got this rookie who's like, hey, maybe I'll have some time to grow into this position. And now
he just got thrown right in. First game of the year against LAFC away. I mean, thrown right in. That's tough. It's tough ask.
Yeah. So could that be part of the fact of him not playing well, of him struggling to find his rhythm in this team that doesn't have really a goal scorer?
Yeah, no, that's a very fair assessment. And I think that, like I said, I'm not doubting him at all. I know that he has room to grow. And I mean, when he does play, it's not like all bad performance. Like I don't like the way he plays. No, he almost scored last game. If it wasn't for a great save by the Nashville keeper, who I think was actually named man of the match, second time that's happened in Miami where the goalkeeper for the other team was named man of the match and we didn't come away with points, or 3 points anyway. Robbie Robinson almost scored twice. Mm-hmm. And one was, I mean, he really could have done a little better, but it was a great save. And then it was off a free kick. So it is what it is. It's fine. I really think that that's something to watch. And that's what I'm telling you, all you viewers, that is something to watch. I think it's going to be massive.
Yeah.
Last time we played Atlanta, it was,
we don't have anyone else to put there.
Yeah, you're right. I mean,
so I guess at this point, Alonso is just trying to throw things to the wall and see what sticks.
it's kind of also waiting for Higuain, in my opinion. But
right. But,
we'll
he's throwing things at the wall, hoping something sticks for now.
Yeah.
And that's all he got.
Oh, well, Robinson hasn't started since March, so this could be the turning point here.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, it's a long time. So, I mean, if he's going to go at least 60, 70 minutes, that's massive, and hopefully it's a good performance. Last time we played Atlanta, I don't have the stats up currently, but it was a 0-0 draw. Same thing with and also there was a lot of chances in that game. We just didn't pull through. Yeah. And I don't think that we had a bad game against Atlanta. It was kind of boring in a sense, but there was definitely a couple things that could have went our way, but didn't. We didn't control the possession. I'm looking at that now. We were down 20%. It was 60-40. I think that's something they need to improve on. I've talked about it a lot too, is that the midfield has to control the possession because this team will probably thrive off of that, especially with Matuidi coming in. Alonso enforced the press a lot against Nashville, which is good, and it kind of keeps the possession in the backfield for the other team, which is good. And if Atlanta's possession is in their own half, I'm fine with that. But against Nashville, we had really good passing in our own final third around the box, which I think is really good, and we need to show that against Atlanta, which I don't think we did last week. Quickly, we'll go back to Oscar here. Do you know what might be the holdup on Higuain? So we're gonna talk about this. I think that Inter Miami had to make a couple of roster changes, and they have so far. But also, I think that he was still discussing. Him and his agent were discussing in Turin with Juve about getting his contract terminated and the severance that he was going to get or whatever it is. That was still happening, and I mentioned that before. That is the whole. His contract didn't expire until 2021. So if Higuain, I mean, we would have to pay a massive transfer fee for someone like Higuain if his contract wasn't terminated, and we wouldn't be able to get him for free. It would probably be impossible at that point, but we're looking to get him on a free transfer. So his contract with Juve and getting out of that is step number one before we can do anything else. Now, we have been rumored to agree to terms with him. Don't know how true that is. It was reported a little bit by The Athletic, so it's kind of trustworthy, but you never really know in soccer media. But
there's no way to know what's happening.
So Fabrizio Romano, who is probably one of the most trusted transfer rumor guys, said that his agent was meeting with Juve to discuss the contract termination and the severance pay and all that. So there was no finalization on that yet, not that we know of. But that has got to be the thing. And then now we're going to get right into it, Pedro. It's time. The roster manipulation from Miami, we had to clear up some cap space for someone like Higuain, because when you bring in a player that massive, they will take up a max contract, and any other money that you pay past that max contract for a player like Higuain either comes from extra money from the league, like Higuain, like Matuidi, which was the TAM money, or as a designated player where it's basically up to the owners to pay the contract. We don't know what Higuain would be yet if he were to come. Most likely a DP, if we're lucky, a TAM player, but that is also something big. And something big that Miami did that a lot of fans were upset about was trading the one and only Lee Win back to the New England Revolution for a 4th-round draft pick and a couple tens of thousands of dollars in money. So here, I did a lot of research on this move because I had to figure out what was going on in terms of the roster, how the roster rules worked, why Miami would make this move. Listen, he's a 34-year-old guy, didn't get any playing time, and was making max money. When you look at it at that face value, it's like, wow, okay, maybe it's a good move to bring in someone like Higuain. But despite the lack of play from Lee Win, when he did play, we saw bright moments. And this is where I'm going to take it over to Pedro, because I know he has a lot to say about this. He loves his MLS guys, and
it's just he's a proven veteran. He's a proven player in this league that, just like you mentioned, when he played, we did well. Fans liked him. He's a player that fans liked. He's a player that fans knew who he was before coming here. He wasn't just some old guy that didn't have anything. Like, before coming to Miami, he played 48 games with LAFC, one of those in which they won the Supporters Shield, right? Over 3,000 minutes played, 31 of those games started. Before then, we don't have to talk about his resume before then. Before then, over 191 games played with the Revolution, MVP finalist in 2014, 51 goals for the Revs. He knows what he's doing. And this comes at a point to me that at this point in the game, it looks like Alonso has favorites. His favorites are playing, and if you're not in his good graces, you're not going to play. And if that's the case, hey, I'm glad that Brett Shea's playing because that's the guy that we need to play. But if a Lee Win kind of guy is the kind of person I was talking about that we need in the center to hold that midfield to help Pizarro score more goals. Oh, he wasn't given that shot to start a game and to showcase his entire talent. He played 93 minutes for Inter Miami. That's a game and the extra time.
And it was in those 93 minutes were so scattered.
Yeah,
first of all.
5 games, 93 minutes.
And when he was on the field, I was always vouching for him to start. I will never say that I wasn't vouching for him to start because I was. I really like him as a player. He made an impact when he was on the field, and he deserved to start 100%. Because here's the thing about Lee Win. At the New England Revolution, when he was scoring that many goals and he was an MVP finalist, he was an all-star, but he was also playing in an attacking mid-role. When he moved to LAFC, Bob Bradley's like, look, you're a talented guy. You're an MLS veteran. I'm going to need you to hold the midfield down and play as a center defensive mid. And he did that to perfection.
Yeah.
And this guy he's so versatile now in the midfield. He's developed into a player, even at this old age, 33, 34, whatever he is, that he can do these things. So if he was starting over Jay Chapman tonight, I'd be delighted.
Yeah.
I would. I think it would be great. Yeah, I think he would run the midfield as well. And we saw with Matuidi. Matuidi was allowed to get forward, and I think that him and Matuidi could play almost similar. Not that the quality and the class is there by any means, not even all, but he could play in a similar where Ujo would be able to drop back almost as a third center back or right above the defenders, drop them between the defenders, and you would usually win in a press to go forward because he is creative. He could provide service, but he could also hold down the midfield when you really need to.
Yes,
he's kind of perfect for this. The scheme is perfect for him.
And it blew my mind away when he got rid of him for money. And then you're saying, well, if we get Higuain, it will be worth it. I'm like, if we get him and he's not a DP, sure. But if we get him and he's a DP,
it's a little.
What was the point?
Yeah, I think that it would make sense for him. I don't know if Higuain comes as a TAM player.
If anything, all they did right now is upset the fans that they did have, because I've talked to many. Like obviously, you've talked to people too. So there's obviously people in both sides of the fence. I've met people that are happy he's gone, but most of the people that I personally know are like, "What did he do? Why was he why did we let him go for a 4th round pick?"
Yeah, someone that's never going to see the field on the MLS.
Kind of like. Okay, it's like when Cleveland gave us Dwayne Wade back. It was kind of like one of those moves because New England got a player that is in their record books back. Yeah. And I don't think he's ready to retire.
No. I think he could provide for an MLS team 100%.
To me, what's going to happen now is he's going to ball out in New England because he's going to have that opportunity with Bruce Arenas. And people in Miami are going to sit there like, oh, crap. That was stupid because how do you, first of all, how did LA let him go was the thing that blew my mind when he was.
It was, I think that, okay, thanks to an expansion. We acquired him through the expansion draft, which is another topic I want to.
Yeah. LA put him in the expansion draft.
Right. So they didn't protect him.
Yeah. So when I heard that blew my mind. I was like, I don't know if this guy isn't in the first 3 or 4 picks, something's wrong.
Yeah, so we got I think we took him with either the second, maybe the 1st or 3rd pick. I'm not really sure, but
the first one was Robles.
No, I don't think that. No, I don't think. I think it was.
Could be wrong. I could be wrong. I'm not gonna say.
There were 5 guys that I'll get to that. But he was one of them. Right. And the thing is about his contract situation is that he was getting a max deal every single year. I mean, he was making. I think it's either like $530,000, $550,000, $600,000, which is the max you can get in MLS without being a TAM, a GAM, or a DP. That is something that you don't really want to give a 33-year-old midfielder whose legs are probably tiring out, and you don't want to have that for the long term. And that's why LA got rid of him.
but you knew that. Yeah, but Miami knew that when they grabbed him,
100%.
and they still had, and they should have known. Like, heck, at least leave him here for the year.
I don't know if I agree. If you fail to utilize someone like that who's making max money, you don't let them sit on your bench. I think you try and get.
But that's not on him. That's on
no, yeah, 100%. This is why I like the move for him though, because he is a talented guy.
For Win, 100%. Glad, I'm happy he's back. I've always enjoyed watching him play. I'm glad he's in New England. To me, it's just at this point, the GM should sit down with the coach and say, "Hey, what's going on? We have this max player contract guy sitting on the bench who can be utilized, and every time he plays, your team does well. Why isn't he starting?"
So here's how I think the conversation went. Paul McDonough sat down with Alonso and said, "Diego, are you going to play Lee Win? He's making max money and he's 34 years old." Alonso says, "He's not in my plans." Okay, boom. Alonso gets on the phone. Boom, gone. I think it's an easy decision at that point if Alonso says he's not going to play him. Personally, because when you free up a max deal, you can bring in someone like Higuain. I think now we have 3 open roster spots with a little bit of money. And I think that, honestly, another couple of roster moves need to be made because there's someone like Alvis Powell who hasn't seen the field since day one. He's making like $250,000. For what? I don't even know if he's on the subs bench.
Pellegrini is underperforming. He's a DP.
And he's a DP. So the thing about Pellegrini, he's 19, so 19 or 20. We're going to give him a little bit. I'm also skeptical about that.
Is Robinson the same grades or not? Is it?
No. They're both on the same. I think they're all both on the same level with me. I'm not happy about what they've done so far. Right. I think I've actually seen more from Robinson than I have Pellegrini, if I'm totally honest with you. Despite him playing less, I'm not. Right now, I'm not Pellegrini's number one fan because he has not produced by any means. He's played on the left. He's played in the middle. They've tried everything. It's nothing. But yeah, so roster moves had to be made. And when you can give up a contract like that for basically nothing.
Yeah. I'll tell you what. It sounds like Higuain is coming.
Yeah, this kind of almost confirmed it, I would say.
When asked about the move, Alonso said it was a strategic move. So it sounds like it. Okay. Yeah. But now he didn't need to leave if you were going to grab him as a DP.
Well, he did in a sense, though, because when you bring in a DP, they do take up a max spot. Okay. So when you bring in it's weird. It's really
confusing. I know you have a better chance to find out who killed Kennedy than figuring out this.
That's true. So when you bring in a DP. The only thing that you're charged towards the salary budget is a max spot. All the money after that is on you.
Yeah.
So that's why they have the whole process with the discovery rights, because they need to see that your intent is there and that you're actually going to pay the money and blah, blah, blah. It's a whole process. Right. And that's why we're waiting 2 weeks for it.
Messi discovery contract.
Listen.
That's what I want to know.
Okay. I hate MLS. The rules and the regulations for these kinds of players, and
what if like this is just completely spitballing? What if like Nashville has Messi's discovery rights? Messi ends up going to Manchester City, and 2 years later he moves to New York City.
He wouldn't be able to though. If Nashville had
to do that.
It's so weird. I mean, I don't even know if that information is like publicly released until a reporter gets. I don't even know.
This is a 6-time FIFA World Player of the Year, but we just discovered him.
Yeah, no, it's crazy. But anyway, so Lee Win's gone.
Yeah, he's gone. It's disappointing. The fans. I don't speak for all the fans, but the people that I know.
You speak for a lot of them. I'll tell you that much.
Are very upset.
Yeah.
And here's the thing: if you don't win tonight, the seat gets hotter. Alonso.
Yeah, unless they know that. I mean, to this point, we think we know that Higuain's coming. Unless they know that there's people more, maybe even more than one, coming into the team in the second transfer window, then maybe it's like okay, they give him some slack. But
that's probably why he's still here.
Yeah, I think that too. I think they have a little pull.
They kind of realize like, hey, we didn't give you what we promised. We're working on it before the second transfer window. So we're not going to judge you on your performance right now. You're going to have a whole year to do this.
And I think tactically, Alonso has done fine. personally, it's just come down to, like, we saw it in the Nashville game. Nico Figal had a terrible mistake dribbling across the back line.
Yeah.
LGP had a slide tackle where the ball somehow fell in between his legs, and they were one-on-one with Robles, who did well to make himself big, didn't get a save, but the guy missed. Like, these individual mistakes have costed us since day one, and it's never come down. I think that if I really want to look at this, only one time I think we have conceded because of our tactics. And that was against New York City FC in the third game of Orlando, where they put a ball over the top while we were pressing. The defense wasn't at all worried about the ball going over the top. It was a great ball, and they scored. That was it. That was the only goal that I'll give to an opposing team as a good source of play that outclassed, Alonso tactically. Other than that, I think Alonso has done fine in terms of tactics. Now, we always debate who he started, which is another topic. Yeah. But on the field, I think Alonso kind of has it figured out. He just needs people to actually fit his system. And I think that's what Beckham, Jorge Mas, and Paul McDonough are working on.
I think, and that's probably why he's not getting as criticized as he would if this was any other coach, because they realize that he doesn't have the players' needs.
Yeah.
And so, it's one of those.
One note I want to make too, Ezequiel Barco for Atlanta is starting tonight. Transfer rumors of his have heated up big time to moving to Spanish giant Sevilla, which would be a huge move for him in his career. But he is starting tonight. So, I mean, that's one thing that Miami's going to have to look out for. He wasn't that big of an impact in the last game against Atlanta, but Ezequiel Barco is always a player you have to look out for. And I didn't think that he was going to start tonight if those rumors kept on heating up, but he is starting. That's something to note. We have a question here. Austin, do you think to help international football in general when it comes to transfer window, the big European clubs should have TAM budget as well as it? Here's the thing about the TAM and the
absolutely not.
No, yeah, the thing about the TAM and the DP is that MLS knows it's a smaller league, so they have to have these rules in place to actually attract other players to come here.
Well, that
when you're talking about billionaires, like oil companies owning teams, they're not worried about who they're paying. They just have to worry about financial fair play. But they can pay whatever they want to whoever they want, and they don't have to worry about it. It sucks for lower clubs, but
right, yeah. These MLS rules are created because MLS is a single entity operation. MLS owns all the teams. So if we haven't realized that by now, every team is owned by MLS. Every player goes wherever MLS decides them to go. They don't go. These players aren't being signed by these teams willy-nilly. MLS has a say in all this, believe it or not. And so these budgets, this TAM budget, this DP budget, these are made to help a team bring a player away outside of the MLS quote-unquote circle. But even then it's weird because, like we just mentioned, you got to have the discovery rights of this player. For example, I remember the whole big deal with Montreal grabbing Drogba and them not having, the actual discovery rights. It was a whole mess. So these things started coming to effect in MLS after the 90s and early 2000s when they realized that they needed to do something to bring these players in. And fun fact, a lot of these rules are actually because of Beckham.
Yeah, 100%.
Beckham, none of these existed. So when Beckham came to LA, that's when the DP, the TAM, and all these others started happening. Until this day, no one knows how to use them correctly.
Yeah, even Paul McDonough, like when they signed LGP before the Orlando tournament, he was like, and he was told that he can't play. He was like, why?
Yeah,
I don't he literally said, I do not understand these rules.
Yeah,
I don't get it. And he even said that publicly. Like, I don't understand the rules. I don't know why he can't play.
Oscar,
which I feel is unfortunate. They're hindering the league quality. Yeah, I mean, when it comes to money, they're very keen on that and advertisements, and we've seen that. Like, that is their go-to kind of thing. And they're doing, I guess, the most they can without affecting as much as possible because they have to find a balance.
It's very disappointing. It's very disappointing. And here's the thing, and that's why there's a big thing out there talking about promotion relegation in the United States and how it's never going to happen in MLS because you're not going to have these players, these quote unquote owners who pay so much money to have a team like Inter Miami and them be relegated to play a team in the middle of Montana in the second division. They're not going to do that. So that's why MLS is a closed system. They're not going to let anything like that happen. And the quality of the league is going to be bad. It's not going to be the best quality in the world, but I still like it.
Of course. Yeah, no, I mean, look, we're talking for 30 minutes every other day.
Yeah, I know it's bad. I know the quality is never going to be like the European leagues. I know it's never going to be like the Brazilian leagues. I know that, but I still enjoy it.
It's what we got.
It's what we got. And hey, you know what? It works.
Yeah.
Believe it or not, like it or not, hate it, love it. You can get at me because I have a lot of friends on Twitter who are very pro rel, which I am too. But MLS system works. It's been working for 25 years. Before MLS, there was no first division professional league in the United States. They know what they're doing.
Yep.
And so they're working. It works. It works well for what it is.
Yeah. It works well for the owners, and that's who they want to keep happy.
Yeah. It's not the best system in the world.
Can you imagine a team like El Paso moving up to the MLS?
Yeah. Or imagine a team, imagine like an LA Galaxy
moving down to play someone like it's crazy.
It's not going to happen.
And the thing is, too, one thing that is not good about that they would have to figure out, too, is that a lot of the second teams of MLS teams, like one of my friends from high school who I played with, plays for Sporting Kansas City 2, who is in the USL, which is the league under MLS.
Yeah.
How would that work? You wouldn't be able to promote SKC2 and SKC and have them in the league at the same time. That's another aspect of it. So
you can't do that.
Look, it's almost game time. We're gonna go predictions, and we'll wrap this up here. Pedro, Brett, look, your boy Breck Shea's starting, so I hope he hears something positive.
0-0.
0-0. Yeah, I mean,
great clean sheet, another point. Just keep claiming the points.
At this point, it is the sad thing is that we're in last place, and 10 teams out of 14 in the East are making the playoffs, and it doesn't look like we're going to do it. I know it's early, but listen, this is a huge opportunity for us to do it.
The middle of the pack is all tight.
It's all tight. I mean, we're only 7-8 games in, so it's all tight. I'm going to go 1-0 to Inter Miami. I think another clean sheet, and I think Robinson gets on the score sheet today.
Robinson? Hey, Robinson do a hat trick. Just for fun.
Oh boy. If that happens, I will be delighted, honestly. Give him player of the month over DK. All right, guys. Make sure to tune in. I think if you have regular cable, it's on channel 3. But that was our show today. Pedro's back. Awesome to see you again, my friend.
Sorry, Milwaukee.
Sorry, Milwaukee. And Miami Heat, baby. Let's go. And then last little prediction here, 2-1 from Anthony. I'll be happy with that too. Thanks for stopping by, guys.
Here, guys.